Stranger on the train. The 6:45 p.m. train from Queens to Penn Station rattled down the tracks, its cars humming with tired bodies and restless thoughts. New York evenings always carried a certain weight, people dragging home dreams, paychecks, and secrets. Maya sat near the window, her tote bag clutched against her chest. She had the look of someone caught between worlds, dark circles beneath her eyes, hair tied in a hurried knot, and the faded hospital badge dangling from her bag, Elmhurst Medical, nursing staff. She had just finished a 12-hour shift. Her back ached, but what hurt more was the memory of the phone call she hadn't returned, the one from her mother in Karachi, whose voice was softer every week, as if fading into the distance. Across from her, a man stepped onto the train at Jackson Heights. He carried nothing but a worn leather jacket and a face that spoke of hard years, creases along his brow, stubble that looked less like style and more like neglect. He scanned the car as though weighing everyone in it, then sat across from Maya. Their eyes met for a split second. She quickly turned to the glass, but something about him made her uneasy. The train lurched forward. Long day. His voice was rough, low, carrying the rhythm of someone who had smoked too long. Maya hesitated. Talking to strangers in New York was an unspoken gamble. Still, maybe it was the exhaustion, or maybe the loneliness. She nodded. Very long. He gave a crooked smile. Yeah. I know the feeling. For a while, silence settled between them. The usual train soundtrack, metal screeching against tracks, muffled music leaking from headphones, a baby crying 2 rows down. Then he spoke again. You're a nurse, right? Maya's hand instinctively covered her badge. Yes. How do you know? Seen the badge. He leaned back. My sister was a nurse. Hard job. Harder when you're not from here. That last line made her heart skip. Not from here. The way he said it carried weight, almost like a warning. She studied him more carefully now. His eyes were tired but sharp. Beneath the roughness was something else, pain, or maybe guilt. You're right, she said cautiously. It's not easy. The man nodded, tapping his foot against the floor. What's harder is trying to make this country believe you belong. Maya wanted to ask him more, but just then, the train screeched into 74th Street. A group of teenagers piled in, loud and careless, their laughter bouncing off the walls. The man tensed. His eyes locked on them with a strange intensity, like prey spotting predators, or perhaps the other way around. Maya felt it, something was off. The teenagers sprawled across seats, shoving each other. One pulled out a small knife, not flashing it openly, but enough for Maya to catch the glint under the train's dull light. Her pulse quickened. She'd seen wounds like that in the ER too many times. The stranger across from her noticed it too. His jaw tightened. He leaned closer and whispered, "Stay calm." Her breath caught. What do you mean? He didn't answer. He just stood slowly, as if stretching his legs, and walked down the aisle. The teenagers spotted him instantly. Their leader, a tall kid with a scar running along his cheek, smirked. What you lookin' at, old man? The train had gone unnaturally quiet. Passengers shifted uncomfortably, eyes averted. The stranger didn't flinch. He stepped closer, and for a moment, Maya thought he was reckless or suicidal. Then it happened fast. One of the teens lunged. The stranger moved quicker. In a blur, he twisted the boy's arm, the knife clattering to the ground. A scream pierced the car. The other kids froze, unsure whether to fight or run. The train jolted into the next station. Doors slid open. The teens bolted out, cursing into the night. The stranger picked up the knife, folded it closed, and slipped it into his jacket pocket. Maya sat frozen. Her heart thundered. He returned to his seat as if nothing had happened. "You're safe now," he muttered. But she couldn't let it go. "Who are you?" He looked at her for a long time, as though deciding whether she deserved the truth. Finally, he spoke. "My name's Daniel. Used to be a cop. Bronx narcotics. 15 years. He sighed, running a hand over his face. "Lost it all when I pulled the trigger on the wrong man. An immigrant. Wrong place, wrong time. They called it justified, but I couldn't live with it. Left the force. Been drifting since." Maya's throat tightened. The pieces fell together: the haunted eyes, the sharp reflexes, the guilt. He wasn't just a stranger. He was a man carrying the weight of a mistake too heavy to set down. "And tonight?" she asked softly. "Tonight, I saw a chance to stop something before it got worse. Maybe that's my penance." The train slowed again, pulling into Penn Station. Passengers stood, gathering their bags. Daniel remained seated. He glanced at her, his eyes tired but strangely at peace. "You remind me of the man I shot. He was young. Trying to build a life here. Just like you." Maya swallowed hard, her hands trembling. She wanted to say something: anger, forgiveness, anything. But words failed. As the doors opened, Daniel stood. "Take care, nurse. And, call your mother. Before it's too late." Then he disappeared into the sea of commuters, swallowed by the station's chaos. Maya sat there, stunned. Her reflection stared back from the window: an immigrant daughter, a healer, someone balancing two worlds. She thought of Daniel, a broken cop searching for redemption. Two strangers crossing paths on a train, each carrying burdens invisible to others. When she finally stood, she pulled out her phone. With trembling fingers, she dialed Karachi. "Am I?" she whispered when the line clicked. "It's me. I miss you." The crowd surged around her, voices and footsteps echoing, but for the first time in months, Maya felt anchored, because sometimes, it takes a stranger on a train to remind you where home really is.